Okay, I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dipsey Childers. I married Childers. Both twins were dead, Peggy and Carl. I was given that name, and that's how I grew up in that pigsty. It was a horrible way to grow up, sick. I found out in '83 about my kidnapping and my real father, King Edward VIII, who was illegally taken down by his own brother, George VI. The Kennedys, Joe Kennedy, father of JFK. That's why they, uh, the Warren Commission covered it up. It would lead back to me and my kidnapping. And the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, the New World Order. Now, Elizabeth uh, and Charles, and one of my relatives that's the same kin to Elizabeth as to me, and that's um, well, don't have this written down. It's too much to write down if you follow it. Beatrix of the Netherlands. She's part of the New World Order. So is the people they're touting. Remember, your press is controlled by the Rockefellers and the Clintons. That there is going to have a baby, that everybody's, they are part of the New World Order, very much so in controlling. So I'm going to jump because I've just run out on the other tape. I was telling about the mind control murders, and I didn't find out about my kidnapping in the till '83, late in '83, when I'd been in a political campaign and flown to Larry Flint's because the doctor congressman that I wrote about, his plane had been shot down August the 31st of '83, and I became a candidate, and I was flown out to Flint's, who had been shot in Lawrenceville while I was doing the book, and Marietta in '78, and the person was programmed to shoot him. So I wrote about the mind control, and this led me later to the Philip Graham, and he was on the committee, if not head of ComSat. I don't want to say that. I meant to go on and look that up because it's been so long since I've told about this. And looking back now, I've gotten into a whole different mess than I knew even. My point is back in, and I meant to look this up, but I mean, everybody knows that John Hinckley was supposed to have shot President Reagan and Brady. Brady was the White House counsel, I believe. He was certainly in that staff. Um, okay, I'm not going to quote who told me this. Anybody can look. I mean, people are living good now. They can't see it all falling apart, and people do not react unless a lot of them, there's some good souls out there, and they pay the price. A lot of people go on till the day it collapses, and the New World Order totally, it's gone. It is now, really. They're in place. But the shooting Brady was part of the programming Hinckley. He was a victim himself, John Hinckley. And the point is the start, or almost the start, of taking out the rifles and the New World Government. You know all of these are mind control murders that have happened. The Virginia Tech that just had an anniversary of that. In '07, 33 were killed, and the young man was from South Korea who shot. He was programmed to shoot, and he ended up killing himself, as so many of them have. And the Tucson, Arizona, the Gabby Gifford, and go on and on, Sandy Hook, and the Aurora, Colorado, and you can go way back. And these fit into patterns, and that's what they're big murders, but the media is the one that's bringing them to attention because there's a lot of things happen that the media does. I mean, people are killed all over the world. They're not done in patterns. Now then, I wanted to get back to Philip Graham, and I hope you can follow me if this does any good whatsoever. Philip Graham married Catherine Graham, and it's the Philip. Okay, no. I got to go back to John Hinckley was programmed. John Hinckley shot Brady, and he shot Reagan. Reagan, by the way, was wearing a vest, so it's what, does he always wear a vest, or did he know this was going to happen? Anyway, uh, so much had later. You can't believe this whole mess. Uh, so let me just uh, go into this and say it. They're using mind control subjects. Mind control is a murder weapon, and it's being used mass now. It's easy. People tune it out. They don't want to hear it, but they're not immune to it. So let me say this. This is one of the reasons that I took what money I was shut down. Remember, I'd had antifreeze put in me. So I was in a living hell, and I didn't know if my children, Mark or Scott, were alive or dead. I got on the bus, and I went, my jobs were being shut down. I went on the bus and took my book and the letter from the FBI and where I had antifreeze put in me. I did get that report back finally, where antifreeze was in me. I went to D.C. and I used the letter as cover from the FBI, and then inside was where I'd done the book, and I even had the book on me and all this stuff from Agent Guest, May the 8th of 90, what, 79, excuse me. So now then all this will be taken up. A tape, I need a longer tape anyway. Now then, I went into, let me just put it this way. I went there because of the Hinckley and the Wayne Williams murders, and some of them done in patterns. And Catherine Graham, I went there because that was part of the Gonzales and the Watergate break-in that Catherine Graham had published about. And everybody, the movie The President's Men was made, okay, about that expose. Now I go in, and remember, I've got a letter from the FBI. Have where I've done the book, and at that time I hadn't found out about my kidnapping. That was a year prior. So this was in about 82. It was when the Hinckley trial was going on. Let me remind you, Hinkley's were from Evergreen, Colorado, and friends, and this is going to go out, and I have to give too much background. They were friends, and they'd just had dinner the night before the shooting with the Bushes. Bush was vice president to Reagan. I went into Catherine Graham's with all this on me, and at the front door I was met, and it was a black gentleman, and he said, well, you have to sign in before we can let you through and tell us who you want to see. Well, I just wanted to see a reporter. At that time, a woman walked up, and she said, so-and-so, and she was meant to be there and tell me, is up on a certain floor. Well, you know what I did? I was supposed to be escorted up, and I didn't. I got on the elevator, and I got to the heck up there. You're supposed to be, they got security all over the place. Don't you wonder why? So I go up to the floor, and this reporter speaks to me, and I have to say, he knew about me. He did stuff while I was there. He knew about me working for the district attorney, Simpson, et cetera, et cetera. Now then, somebody said Catherine Graham's office, I was being led up there by them. They were deliberately telling me, Catherine Graham is up on a certain floor. So they didn't escort me down like they were supposed to. I went straight up there because some of the reporters were helping me get there. I got up there to Catherine Graham's with all this on me, and I was trying to tell her about mind control murders, and her husband, Philip, was supposed to have committed suicide, and he was on the ComSat, the defense satellite, when he supposedly committed suicide. With all this stuff and the letter from the FBI, all of it, me lugging it around, Catherine Graham sent her security to take me out, take me down and escort me out the front door and tell me to never come back again. As I left, the same black guy that had let me in said, we'll see you later. Well, that was back in 82. No one's seen me later. I've been in hell. All the reporters know it. The news media should be held accountable. Every one of them here in Roanoke, Huntsville, Atlanta, you name it, know about this. So that's what I wanted. But the Philip Graham goes into the takeover of